Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us on the Post Wrestling feed, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we are live.
YouTube.com/postwrestling. Hello, postmarks.
Postmarks, Up Next experts,
And
friends.
friend.
NXT friends.
Our
Yes.
NXT friend.
It's Tuesday night. We may be the only people in the world who watched NXT tonight because there's hockey playoffs.
Yeah, I recorded the game. Don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Don't tell me anything.
Wearing your Leafs jersey?
Yeah.
We didn't watch the game. I could tell you what happened. Leafs are in the playoffs. It always goes well. It always goes great. Lots of real sports, or as we call them, fake sports, really. Not the not so important ones, but for some reason people probably chose that over NXT tonight, and I understand. But we still stuck it out, and we watched NXT here tonight. We're going to talk all about it and go through everything because next week, I know it's April. Next week is spring breaking.
Spring ripping chicken.
Spring breaking. I know some people's spring break was probably like a month ago, but nope, we're doing it next week.
Our spring break was like this weekend.
It was. Yeah. Weather was crazy.
Can I just... Did I dream, or did the other day we were in like shorts, Hawaiian shirts?
Yeah.
We climbed the CN Tower. We got drunk on a patio and then went to see Impact Wrestling.
And then it was
Did that
snowing
happen?
today.
Because I went to work and it was snowing today.
Oh man. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
We do, yeah.
We have a lot to talk about. Shout out Post Wrestling, Wei Ting, John Pollock. Davie and I joined both those lads as we climbed the CN Tower here in Toronto, just outside our apartment, and we climbed 144 flights.
Yeah, 1,776 steps. Recorded. There was then like this cheeky extra 10 flights after.
That was the worst. They're like, hey, you did it, guys.
Did it.
Thanks.
You
Anyways,
just
here's
could've walked
12
up
more
these
flights.
stairs.
I was gasped, bro. I was like, sorry, what? Couldn't this be part of the thing? But yeah, I didn't die. I survived.
Yeah, did
So
great.
that was good. You killed it. You did it in like 18 minutes.
18 minutes, 20 seconds.
Wow, that's crazy. I did in 30, so I felt like I was fine. So
Yeah.
I'm good. I wasn't the last in our group either. So there we go. I didn't lose.
We paid that guy.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't know who that guy was. No. We just wanted you to feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, beat him by 3 minutes. So I felt good about that. No, we felt good because we saved some animals.
We saved pandas.
The
didn't we?
WWF. Yeah, this was a sponsored event. Because of some of our listeners and some of our friends and family, we raised like over $1,000 and plus and stuff. And all of us donated our gifts back.
We did,
So
yes.
we're true animal lovers here. And it was cool to climb the CN
It was
Tower.
great. Like we kind of found out at the same time about a week ago that we were doing this, so
Yeah.
didn't really do much training, but I think the little we did kind of helped. And yeah, we just felt really good after. We went for a nice breakfast after. I couldn't stop eating after that day. Like,
Yeah.
it was after doing all that in the morning, and then it was great. We went out, and anytime we had like, I don't know, nice bartender, we're like, I saved a panda today.
Yeah,
and they're
we
like,
got
oh my
treated
god,
like-
that's
yeah.
so cute. Well
We
done.
got treated nice all day. We both so when you do it, you do get like apparently like I don't know stuffed animals and stuff like that. We all
Yeah.
said no, like just keep it in the donations
Yeah.
and stuff. But you get a shirt. So we all got WWF shirts, the classic panda. Wish it was the one with the chair, but so we both then wore them out to Impact Wrestling Rebellion later
With our
that night.
nice headbands.
Yeah, we took those off, but yeah, we were wearing the shirts, and everywhere we went, people were like, "Wow, you guys did the climb today?" And they just were treating us like we were just the best. So we had a long day.
No, it was a fun day.
We exercised a lot by climbing the CN Tower,
Yeah.
and we got a great view.
Yeah.
Someone puked in the stairwell when I was climbing.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was nuts.
That wasn't there when so it was someone, probably John.
Yeah. He was by himself for a little bit there,
Yeah.
so I feel like that was probably him. I feel like next year we can already put our name in the hat for doing it again.
But we all know what time we want to break.
Yeah,
Don't we?
I could
We all
definitely.
want to shave off a minute or
Yeah,
so.
I could definitely shave off a bunch now that I know
Yeah.
how it works and stuff like that, and when to take my puffers
Mm.
while climbing. But it was so much fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And it was something that I would like definitely recommend for people to do. See, I can't run, like doing 10Ks and stuff like that. I just would walk, which is just, I walk anyway. So it's not that exciting. Climbing and like an iconic, part of this city where I'm from, like, was pretty cool.
Thing is, I would say the view at the top wasn't as like, I mean, I've been up there before, but you get to the top and you just go, oh, there's a lot of sweaty people breathing in this like glass like lighthouse thing. And it's like, oh, kind of gross.
But we saved animals.
But we did.
So then we hung out with John away, and then we had some breakfast, and then me and you chilled. We wandered the city. We continued walking around, and it was gorgeous out. It felt like summer, even though it's only April here in Toronto. As my computer just decided that it didn't want to record the rest of our conversation right. Well, give me one sec. Sorry, YouTube people. So we then went to Rebellion. Well, we bar hopped quite a lot.
Went to a few patios in the sun, and apparently I listened to the Johns talk about Rebellion. It sounds like it was a good show. I can't really say.
You were there? Yeah, you were there.
I was there. I can't really say I remember much.
I was there. We were drinking a lot, and we met up with so many different friends. Shout out Jeremy, Big Tom, Bri, Jen, the classic lot. John, WH was there. Impact is still just Impact. We got a huge pop apparently because after the show, so many people were coming up to us being like, oh, you guys made us laugh. Because I don't know if it was me or you. I think it was you. It's something we say to each other often. Like, this guy's name's Steve.
Oh, go on, Steve.
Go on, Steve. So we just kept going like, Steve, for Steve Macklin. And people were like, yeah, like the guy's name's Steve. I get, but like you guys were killing me. So like, I don't remember that. But
I remember calling for Steve.
Yeah.
It's WH's favorite, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. There was some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, but like,
I honestly, I had fun there.
Yeah.
But the wrestling was a second part of it. I had a nice day. There was wrestling on in the background at a nightclub I went to. That's how it kind of.
Yeah, but like
and
Rebel
like
is a rave
some things
joint,
I saw was like really good, but I can't say I really took much.
I will say
it was a long day.
The venue is cool.
Delirious by that time.
Yeah, I remember we went outside for a smoke before the show ended, and D'Lo Brown walked by.
Oh yeah, you lost your mind.
Sorry, I'm like listening to you or someone talk and tell a story, and I'm just kind of like turning, and I had a joint in my hand, and I turned, and all of a sudden I'm face to face with D'Lo Brown, and I'm like, "Yo, you're D'Lo Brown. I love you." And he's like, "Thanks," and I'm like, "No, like you're awesome. Hey, thanks." And he's like, "Thanks," and then I was just like, "Guys, it's D'Lo Brown."
The thing was, we weren't in the public area.
I know.
Our friend brought us out.
I know.
And then you were screaming, "Yo, you're D'Lo Brown!"
He then like laughed with me and he was like, and I'm like, and then I was like, hey, like, have a good night. Like, I'm not gonna just like start asking you questions about the Rumble 2000 or anything like that. Just like, hey, have a good night. And then he started walking by and I was like, yo, D'Lo, hit the lowdown. He laughed. He's like, no. So shout out D'Lo Brown. Love D'Lo. Gotta do a best match ever, D'Lo.
Yeah, that might be the most I've ever seen you like fanboy.
It was just
someone.
It was literally just because like I'm like not talking. I'm just like chilling, and then like I turn and literally like almost nose to nose with someone. Like, oh, he almost startled me, and I was like, oh, it's D'Lo Brown. Hey, what's going on? Big fan. I saw Lance Storm walk by. Didn't want to bother the people working, but like Impact is doing pretty well with like the roster. Some of the people they have on the roster are great.
They've got some good people now, and I did like the setup. I thought it looked pretty cool there.
Yeah,
especially where we moved to. We had like these like booths, like couches.
I mean,
we were watching wrestling in couches.
It's one of the biggest clubs like in North America.
Yeah,
not just Toronto. Like it is. I've been there for many concerts and different events, and like it is a top notch like area for an event like that, so it is pretty cool. But yeah, Impact, they're coming back for some shows later, but I think it's the same day as All In.
Oh,
in like late August. So
okay,
don't know if we'll be going to that one, but yeah, we had some fun going to. It was just a long day. We climbed the CN Tower and then went to some wrestling, and then ended up at karaoke. You probably don't remember that.
No, I do remember going.
You sang Rey Mysterio's AAA theme song.
I did sing Rey Mysterio's.
For those who get that joke, you had to have listened to our Best Match Ever Part 2 on the Patreon of Rey Mysterio. But yeah, what was the song? Erase your
Little Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
No, I remember the day. It was just like, it was long.
Just a long day.
I'm still exhausted from it, to be honest. Because I closed the bar the night before.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
a summer for like 4 days last week. And so work was crazy.
Yeah.
And then closed Saturday night and got up 3 hours later to climb a tower and then get drunk all day.
Climb a
Like,
tower.
it was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a lot, but we saved the animals. We're gonna do it again. Next year we'll have an after party.
Yeah.
I have everything set. We'll book out a bar, play the best of WWF while celebrating the WWF.
Sounds good. I hope it's same weather. next
Yeah,
year.
yeah. Well, the weather's coming good. So for those any people looking for some good weather this summer in Toronto, Forbidden Door weekend would be the weekend.
Heard it's going to be beautiful that week.
months
Yeah.
from now, but it's probably going to be really
I
beautiful.
think it's gonna be
June in
lovely.
Toronto
Yeah.
is usually really, really nice. Yeah.
You still recording?
Well, we are, but my computer's just like, I'm going to keep stopping for bits. It's like when your computer died the other week, right before going live. So patreon.com, YouTube people, is where we spend money on things that sometimes make us
You know, just before we move on to everything, that the thing I found funny about the tower was they had paramedics like every 10 floors, but they had like, I swear they had paramedics on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you really
Yeah.
like
Climb 5.
if you climbed 5 and passed out, like you really didn't think what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's like tiers? So like the veterans are on like floor 130, but then at the beginning it's someone who just got their first aid training yesterday, some 18-year-old.
You'd put those at the very top to deal with the.
No, they're at the bottom.
I noticed that people were puking. I noticed that there was paramedics, but for the most part, like it was other people that slow you down too, because they're like slowly walking. So I'm like, okay, next time
you gotta. I was doing the overtaking.
Yeah,
you gotta do
I
it.
learned
Excuse
that.
me.
Yeah.
On your left.
I feel like this is how now I'm gonna just get into exercising.
Yeah.
This is how it
What's
starts.
your goal? Let's.
Next year?
Yeah, let's put it.
Oh,
down.
I could take 5 minutes off.
So what was your time?
30:03.
30:03.
Yeah.
So 25:03.
Yeah, I could do that.
All right.
Book it.
I want to take 2 off.
That should be.
Could I do 15? Do it in 15. That's
What
a
was the
lot.
record that day? Was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Record
And the
of all
last
time is
was like
7.
144 or something. Was it the guy with one leg? I don't think it was.
Probably the puker.
Yeah. Oh.
It's gonna slow you down, isn't it?
Or make you faster, lighter, on your toes.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of other things related to wrestling that's going on. Obviously, John Away covering Monday Night Raw, but I saw that next week Bad Bunny is returning. I feel like that's going to get a big bump because Backlash in Puerto Rico is sold out.
Just in a couple of weeks, yeah.
That's going to be like a pretty big party. Bad Bunny like just headlining Coachella, and he looked fine since he took that table bump from Damian Priest performing there. But I think that's pretty big for WWE. For him coming back
I
and
imagine
announcing it.
they're announcing the match next week, I would think.
Yeah.
They've already done the angle, really. So yeah, that's huge. Looking forward to Backlash, actually. I think should be that match especially should be pretty fun.
Well, keep talking because I'm going to restart this.
Well, we normally go live every Sunday at 2 p.m. On our feed on Poison Rana Pod to kind of talk all about the week's news in wrestling. We didn't go live this week because we climbed the tower, but I think something we maybe should kind of mention that we haven't really talked about on any of our shows yet is the latest with the extra AEW show, and CM Punk looks like he's coming back, and
Everyone says looks like he's coming back. Like that's been the talk since like he's been gone, right?
yeah, but I think now you're getting kind of talks of discussions with talent, and there's been a meeting with him and Jericho apparently, and the sound is this AEW Collision on Saturdays could be perhaps a bit of a soft roster split with CM Punk being on that show on Saturday night.
Yeah, pretty weird. Like if a lot of people are reporting this, so like clearly this Collision thing was something that came out a while ago, the name and everything, where people are like, oh, that's clearly a show that they're going to do. But now having it like the story being, oh, Punk's going to lead this and this is so lame. Like what? That's just odd. And can't say like more wrestling's what we need already from them. Like, worry about your other 3 shows before 5 shows, 6 shows, all access. I don't even watch that.
It's money though, isn't it? Like, it's a kind of endorsement in them from Warner that they're like, hey, we want you to do another 2 hours and stuff. I imagine Rampage is going to become even more of an afterthought than it already is. But it's a 2-hour show on primetime Saturday night. That's going to be something they're going to put a lot behind. So obviously having a CM Punk on that would help. I don't know if you need to do a roster split though. Like, if you're really trying to separate these talents, couldn't you maybe mainly do Punk on this Saturday show, but sometimes you could flip it over and have him on Dynamite one week and the Elite on the other or whatever. But I kind of think eventually they're going to have to get together at some point, you know?
Yeah, it's so bizarre. I'm hoping that this collision might be like what we've kind of, as fans, have been talking about, like how their buy-in or 0 hour like is just an always permanent show, like a Sunday Night Heat, right? Where it's also clips of the shows when it's not.
This is going to be
just
a Dynamite.
A straight up show,
it's a 2-hour live show
on a Saturday.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So it's another Dynamite.
But like they're going to continue that Rampage and this show.
Well, I imagine it would be probably you go to Dynamite and it's Dynamite with a Rampage taping, and you go to Collision and it's this with a ROH taping. That is what I'd imagine.
Okay.
They do.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
So,
kind of odd if it is the whole split thing, because you'd figure they've got something cooking up at this point. Like, you'd figure someone like they know what their big moves are leading into this summer, with huge tours of not just like the US but now Canada, and doing all in, with 50,000 plus people already signing up for tickets. Like, they have something cooking up, and it's probably Punk versus Kenny, or Elite versus FTR
Punk on the show, I would think, unless he breaks his leg jumping off a stage again or something.
That'll be in the match.
In the match, okay. For sure. Just do our Wembley Punk. But it looks like he's coming back, which is exciting. It's been a weird year, but I can't say I'll be mad about seeing him back. Yeah,
I just like for them to just ignore it and do some sort of split, like, or is that sort of like kayfabe part of a story, like where I don't know, but would just like to see him back, because it would do good for AEW and for just wrestling. People love this guy so much, and some people hate him, and you know what, that works too. So bringing him back in the mix would be pretty cool. It's all people want to talk about, which is crazy. Like, all people ever talked about for 7 years was, yo, is CM Punk gonna come back? This MFer did it again. And, which I know there's those people out there. We've been to a lot of wrestling shows the past few days, the past few weeks. It's a work, bro. It's a work. Like, I see what you're saying, because, like, yeah, we're talking about him all the time, but I don't see it that way. But, however, smart worker.
There's ways it can be both.
Smart worker who might not be working.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not a work, but you can work and not work while we're getting.
Sure, doing a shoot,
exactly,
brother.
Yeah,
you want to list off the brothers of Dralistico and
oh, jeez, yeah. But then also we've got the draft coming up, the
it's
WWE draft, which I don't know. They do this every now and then, and they kind of stick to it for a bit, and then it kind of fades out after a while. But then I was kind of reading stuff today about maybe this is kind of more of a beginning of Triple H's era, where he's been using the kind of the draft that Vince had, and now it's a way to shake things up a bit, and maybe that's some of your people you've seen on the bit of a back burner before, where this is their start. And I do like that they're doing this not in the build of a pay-per-view, like it's Backlash and then this, I'm pretty sure. Whereas before they've done it like right before Survivor Series or right to a build of SummerSlam, which is like, So I don't know, maybe a bit of a fresh roster could be a good thing.
Yeah, the thing with what I've checked in on WWE for the past year, which there has been good stuff. There still has been bad stuff, but there has been good stuff. But I see the same people on all the shows every week and promoting this and that. So I do think that was working, because sometimes a big name does help boost ticket sales or TV ratings here and then. When you go, hey, actually Roman's on Raw tonight, or the Bloodline's on SmackDown, like vice versa, right? So I do find it odd that, like, okay, well, now are we going to go back to you have to stay on those shows? It is tough when there's the double champ and stuff like that. But
I think, like, I've kind of liked how it's worked, where you have had your 2 rosters, but certainly over WrestleMania season, they've like relaxed it a lot. But having your kind of floating champion, that's what they originally did when they very first did the split back in what, 02 or 3, whatever it was. They had your floating champion. And I think having that with your men's, your tag, and maybe even your women's, if you unify them, you can keep your stars on both shows and satisfy both. But then when you look at your next tier, like your Gunther's, now your IC title actually means something for the first time in forever. You can freshen up his opponents and that kind of thing, and maybe cycle in some new people for stories or start new factions or whatever. I don't know. I'm curious to see. This is the first kind of Triple H draft, if you will. We'll see. Even though people are maybe how much is Vince involved or not. But I am sort of a little optimistic.
Especially we cover NXT. I would imagine we're getting. We talked about it a few weeks going now. Like you imagine there's going to be lots of people brought in.
Call-ups, absolutely.
Like being
they were
teased,
hinting it today,
hinting at things we were joking about before. So like, it definitely kind of does make sense, and you would see some call-ups because I mean, we got a heel Trish Stratus on Monday Night Raw that needs some fresh opponents, and a Roxy Trish match could be like squeaky clean 21, 22-year-old Roxanne versus heel cowboy classic Trish Stratus.
I'm thinking now we've got Tombstone Brock against Dijak seeking for justice.
Yeah,
right. Like,
they could be in the same group. They wear the same jackets. The cowboy
Hard Justice is their movie, isn't it?
Right.
Which is
Hard Justice. Brock, if they make a Tombstone remake, Brock is definitely in it. He's no Sweaty Val, but good movie. And if you like that movie, you can check out our review on our Patreon from a few months back. But Brock Lesnar giving me vibes. Yeah, like Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar. I'm actually really excited about Brock versus Cody. I didn't like the way they like initiated it, but the match itself is big, and that's Backlash. Like I think that's a huge match. Obviously, could have been a bit better story if Cody had the strap. Yeah,
I am getting there. Like I was definitely one of those. And WrestleMania was only a couple of weeks ago, but I was one of those people. Let's see where it goes. And it does feel like the Bloodline are kind of treading the same water they have been for the last couple of months. They're still talking about Sammy and Kevin problems and that kind of thing. And it's like, maybe it would have been more interesting for them to go into that story of the Bloodline without the titles. And then Cody, as his first offense against Brock Lesnar, feels pretty huge.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. I'm sure they could bring certain things back. But yeah, I am definitely watching going, this could feel bigger with the title.
It's still a big match. First time ever. I imagine Cody versus Roman at SummerSlam or next year at WrestleMania at this point.
I think SummerSlam.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope SummerSlam because we got our tickets.
We do.
And we are going. So anyone looking for the biggest party of the summer, it's obviously going to be with us wherever we end up. And we are...
And shout out Daniel Garcia.
Shout out Daniel Garcia, because if you listen to our show, you may have heard us talk about a story of when we went to Buffalo for Dynamite. And we booked a hotel. Shout out the Hilton Garden Inn. Davie thought it would be very funny and cheeky to, when you book a hotel in the area that's like, hey, is there anything else we could do for you? And what did you write in this?
Says any special requests? And I said, yes, I would really love a picture on display of local Buffalo professional wrestler Daniel Garcia. It would really make my trip really quite special. And completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Show up to the hotel, and on my bed is a picture of Daniel Garcia. And then you walk into your room and...
Yeah, you did the same thing for my room, but you put Butcher in the Blade.
Yeah.
Because we were in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo kids, right? So we were having we were like, this is hilarious. So you took a photo of it and you put it on Twitter. And it blew up a little bit with lots of wrestling fans and wrestlers kind of... I don't know if Garcia, we got to make sure...
he liked it.
Yeah, I think he liked it. So, like, we got a lot of people, like maybe hundreds of people liking and sharing this, like, funny story and photo, that the Hilton Garden got wind of it because you tagged them, that they said to us, that was a lot of free promotion you did for us. So, what did they do?
They gave us a couple of free nights at Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah, so we decided to use them.
I looked up in Detroit, and it's like a 4-minute walk from Ford Field.
So thank you, Daniel Garcia.
So we booked that, and then I'm like, oh, it's the pre-sale right now. saw a couple of nice seats for SummerSlam. I was like, Braden, we're going SummerSlam.
Yeah. So thank you, Daniel Garcia, and thank you, Hilton Garden Inn in Buffalo.
And thank you, Jesse from the Six, who I'm hoping is driving us.
Yeah. So we are going to SummerSlam this summer. So we got a lot of things going on this summer. And follow the space for updates on some events and some parties that we are planning. Oh, because believe me, we are cooking something up. We are talking about Brock and cowboy hats. I'm wondering if Brock won't be the one to retire Goldberg, because he's saying that he's got a few more matches left in the tank, and Vince promised him a proper send-off that he did not get, and therefore I got to end my career on my own terms, his own words.
This is Goldberg or Brock?
Goldberg.
Okay, right.
And he says, like, hey, if Vince or Triple H isn't going to book me for my last, rodeo, then someone else has to. So it won't be Brock Goldberg one more time, but will Goldberg maybe have something special in Toronto?
For Forbidden Door.
I mean, Goldberg versus Sting at All In, if it's not MJF versus Sting at All In, because, like, just do it. I don't know.
Goldberg coming out Wembley Stadium.
Crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Be awesome. Be amazing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Goldberg's been...
No,
Goldberg's been
I
chatting.
love the idea of Goldberg Orange Cassidy. I think that sounds fantastic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think that would be great. And especially this run Orange has been on.
Yeah. What was Goldberg's kid's name? Gage? Oh, yeah. I got to get Gage in AEW. Pops off for Gage.
And Hook.
Yeah. What's their gimmick? Hook and Gage. They just don't wear shirts.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just interested. I know maybe he's working. Maybe he's still back with the Fed, but it's interesting because I
can't see WWE not booking.
I know Goldberg match. It's weird. Look, Goldberg, he's been good at how he's been booked in the last few times, so it made me as a fan go, hey, actually, it's pretty
Who in
fun.
WWE would you
in WWE? Gunther.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Thing is, if it was AEW, like you could have way more fun with it. So that's why I'm a bit more.
I think so, and I'd want to know how willing. That's why I think an Orange match would be so good. Because if Bill just went, "Hey Orange, I've been told to just let you do your thing. I'm gonna listen." It could be incredible.
Yeah,
like Bill can still win. Even,
yeah. Take the title, go on a streak.
Yeah, but an Orange Cassidy match, I think, would
team up with Jade.
So interesting. Right.
Yeah, the streaks.
Find Shaq.
I'm down for that. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. So there's lots going on in wrestling. But you want to hear more of us talk, follow us on Poisonrana. For all the other stuff that we talk about, we're going to have another one out this weekend. We're going to be doing, I'll give out some cheap little plugs here. I swear we will talk about NXT, but it's been a big week, guys. We've done some shows. Obviously, WrestleMania's come and gone. We've done some WrestleMania reviews out on our Patreon. We just did a review because everyone's going nuts over Super Mario. We looked back 30 years to the 1993 live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie with Bob Hoskins. Wow, what a terrible movie. And we are joined by John Siino to chat all about it, including his live takes from Nintendo World in California and the new movie. We chat all things Mario, and wow, what a terrible movie. And terrible movies make for great podcast reviews. If that's not your thing, we did a Best Match Ever Part 2 featuring the best of Rey Mysterio Jr., looking at all his outside the WWE stuff, including ECW, WCW, Psychosis, who just returned to Triple Mania. We talk a lot about that as well. Lots of lucha stuff. But you like free stuff, we put out Part 1 for free on our Poisonrana feed as well. So go over there and check it out. This week on the feed, because Thursday is 420, we are going to be doing, we're cheating and doing it a day early. Tomorrow on the Poisonrana feed, Wednesday at 3 p.m., we're going to go live with the new Detox with Jordan Goodman and myself. We're going to be joined by Steve Grows Weed, and we're going to talk not just about weed. We're just going to, shoot the shit and answer questions from our listeners as we do normally on that show. But come hang out and ask any questions because we're going to be doing it live in the YouTube and video as well. So lots of fun there. I know you've been doing episodes of The Sesh.
Yeah, I was joined episode 1 and 2 with Jordan from Detox. And then last week I was joined by our man Neil to talk about episode 3 of the final season of Succession, Connor's Wedding.
Whoa.
And then this week I'm going to be joined by Brandon from New Jersey.
Wow.
To talk all about episode 4. So that is available on the Patreon. There is the sample of episode 1 and 2 you can hear on our Poison Rana free feed. If you like it, consider signing up. $5 for the rest of the series.
Yeah, $5. We also do retro NXT reviews, and we have one coming up on the Patreon this week as well, featuring Was Next, the show. We're right now just finishing 2013, so you can go back and find every episode. We've covered every episode of NXT since the Full Sail era, but we have two Was experts, Anne Marie and Chris Price, who write in for feedback on this show every time we do this show. And because we finally finished 2013, the episode we're on is like, what, episode 201? Because we just did 200 or something a few weeks back. But this one is like kind of a roundup of the year. So it's featuring like...
It aired on Christmas Day, 2013. So, you know, it's like a real like highlight reel of the year.
But 2013 NXT was crazy because they had the Cesaro-Sammy matches and like some other really great stuff. But this episode also features Cesaro versus William Regal.
William Regal's last ever match.
Yeah, so that's a review that we have out on the Patreon as well. So that's going to be a ton of fun.
We're going to be talking about, like all the highlights from 2013, which we've been reviewing for like 2 years now. I don't know how I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
Maybe longer than that.
They'll have to help us out.
Yeah, they are. I've told them, please help us.
A few more episodes will be into Arrival.
Yeah, we're not far off.
Be pretty cool.
We're at least in the build now.
Yeah. Well, so go check out our Patreon. We have lots of podcasts, free feed, non-free feed. There's just so many. So go check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. We appreciate it. And I saw one bit of news about NXT that I didn't see get like talked about too much, but then I started seeing it being reported different places that the Cavender twins, these two ladies, basketball players that are like big news everywhere, and every time I saw them get interviewed, and it was like, hey, so what are you guys doing? What's next for you guys? And they're like, screw basketball, we're going to the WWE. We signed with them, we're going to the PC. And it's true, they're reporting to NXT at PC probably, you know, within a few months, you'd figure. And I'm interested to see kind of where they can go. I have heard of them before this, so kind of, and I'm interested to that. It made kind of rounds like athletes basically saying, I'm choosing to do this.
That's a real big statement for WWE about women's sport, I would think. Because, like if you think about it, I mean, obviously I follow wrestling, but I can't name any female basketball players.
Right.
And that's not saying anything negative about it. I just don't. And therefore, these incredible athletes can learn how to wrestle. Like, I think it's definitely a way of, you know, making more money. Yeah,
becoming famous. Look at the Bella twins. Look at any of
it's. I think that's a real kind of testament to WWE with what they've been able to do for women's sports, women's athletics in the last 10 years.
Especially with this whole like next in line and like bringing in athletes and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty crazy that like on a live interview they're like, nah, we're going to WWE.
Like
screw that.
It's in a weird way, it's a safer option, isn't it? Like if you're getting recruited, if you're this top athlete young, it's like, do you want to do all your training, you know, on camera? Like everything's recorded. We could mold you into a big star. Like it's up to us if you're going to make it. It's not about like, you know, achievement in an actual sport. Like it's
and it's interesting. Of course we cover, we've done upNXT for 5 years now, just covering NXT every week, and it is like a developmental system, as is the Performance Center. But like I would not let anyone say that it's like not successful, because I obviously some big names who've come through NXT definitely started like everywhere else, like a Seth Rollins or things like that. But a Roman Reigns, he had his FCW, but he was through this system. Like there's so many people that came in through this system that are huge names for them now. Of course, there's your Mojo Rawleys, who they try really hard and then they eventually just give up. They've done that a bunch too, but like the success rate for big money.
It's really going to be interesting in the next 5 years when we're seeing this crop of NXT.
Carmelo, Braun Breaker,
your Tiffany Strands, your Sol Rukas, who are very, very new to it, and seeing how they've quickly have caught on.
Some people can really catch on, like a Sol Ruka, someone who's like, wow, like how long you been doing this already? You look better than a lot of other people. But I think the PC is a success, and as many times as you see people, they let people go and this and that. But like, look at the stars they've made through it. Look at like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bailey. Again, some people have come through with experience and stuff, but like going through that and becoming, learning everything through that, I would say it's a success. So that, like you said, is a show to WWE. Like, hey, these athletes want to go there because they know they could become famous. Maybe they love wrestling. Maybe they don't like wrestling, but they're going to learn to love it. But it's cool. I thought that was pretty interesting. But now we can talk about this week's episode of NXT. Is it the go home show for Spring Brecken? Yeah. One of the best. Not even a pay-per-view name, not even anything name. It's a TV special name next week. So we'll be going live right after that next Tuesday, right here on this post feed. But we start off NXT from Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. We start off with a tag team triple threat match, but it's for the tag team titles. And we start off with a big brawl here to kick off NXT with all three teams just fighting. We got the Creed brothers, Gallus, and Schism. And yeah, this is what really starts off.
Gallus and Schism, sorry. It sounds rude, doesn't it?
Gallus, Schism.
Got Creed, Gallus, and Schism.
Yeah.
It's like, see someone.
Yeah. So there's great exchanges here from the Creeds and Gallus. Like, they keep tagging in and out here. I have Dyad lads, the Dyads. Hey, they're still here, lads. We joked last week, hey, they should just win the titles now. And is that something they did? Maybe not. They hit some pretty cool, interesting, like, back heel. There's a spin heel kick from, man, I don't remember.
Jagger?
I'm just going to call them James Drake.
The Jagger. Okay.
Jagger. Okay, yeah, you help me out.
Jagger is James.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they hit some pretty cool looking moves, don't get me wrong. But then in comes Gallus, and they've been hitting recently as well. There's a sweet, like, slingshot into a Samoan drop by Mark Coffey here. Julius is now, sorry, this is NXT, so there's three guys at the same time in the ring, which I think definitely works better in these kinds of matches. But Julius is in here, and I say this every week, broken record, but this guy is a future star because he's hitting suplexes, and he hits a belly to belly and then a kip up, and then a belly to belly and then a kip up, and then another belly to belly and kip up again, and then like is doing more. Oh,
he's
man.
A freak.
Yeah,
like, honestly,
absolutely.
This guy's incredible.
There's then a series of super kicks, and then like this running PK to the chest from Mark Gallus for a 2 count. It's kind of all just like nonstop until they go to break. When they come back, we have Brutus, who's now in, and he's just stacks Wolfgang, and he stacks Gibson, Rip Fowler,
yeah.
And he starts just Brutus smashing, but like onto both guys here. Looked great and very impressive. Eventually, the Dyad lads block the Gallus finisher, like the helicopter thing, and then they hit the like, this is Tony D and Stack's finishing move, and same with Aussie Open.
True, yeah.
It's like running upside down flip thing, but it's broken out of and not the fall here. Julius is back in and then suplexes both of them at the same time, which got the crowd just losing it. There's then a doomsday attempt, but then Ava Rain gets on the apron, which then Ivy tries to stop her, but then like Julius shoves her into her, so Ivy takes a dive and kind of falls, and this kind of distracts Brutus, who still ends up hitting the Brutus bomb, who just lands on Fowler's face and like I think busted his nose open here.
He was like, I'm making sure I make contact with someone today.
Even though he's acting like he's distracted, so it was kind of a weird spot and not kind of safe when you're supposed to act like you don't want to watch, but you want to watch, because the guy's on the other guy's shoulders waiting for you to take the spot. I hope his nose is okay. They then like are checking on Ivy, but then that's when there's the my spell check says British bomb, but I don't think that's what it was.
The Brutus bomb?
The Brutus bomb, yeah. This is when we get the Gallus boys back in the ring, and they have Brutus when Julius is like checking on Ivy, and they hit the spin out fireman carry kick combo, pure Gallus as I'm calling it, and they win the match to retain the tag team titles in what I thought was a pretty non-stop, like kept going from beginning to end, even beginning because there was just a brawl to start it, but it was great.
I thought the whole thing was awesome. They do this sometimes in NXT where you start mid-action. We've had this with like Wes Lee's open challenges, where you've opened with everyone brawling, fighting to like be the person to accept the challenge. I think it grabs your attention right away. Because quite often, like we do it, we're putting on the TV, we're kind of, cooking, like doing some other stuff as it's like, okay, we're gonna have entrances, and it's like, oh shit, it's on right away.
Right away,
you
yeah.
sit right down. The match, I think NXT especially have really made a kind of a name for themselves on these three-way tags. We seem to have them a lot at the pay-per-views a lot recently. We've had these 3-team tag matches, but I think they do them really well, and I think these teams especially really lend themselves nicely to it. Gallus are definitely improving in my mind. I think they've actually been putting on some really solid stuff, and the Creeds as well. Julius especially is just a freak. I thought this was an awesome opener.
Yeah, in a way, this is like, okay, Creeds, can you just get brought up now? But I feel like the story isn't over now, because it's like there's 3 guys in Gallus, and then you have Gacy with Ava with the Schism. And I know we've been saying this for a long time now,
Where's
but
Roddy?
where is Roddy? Because he would fit right back in here to help them out here. But I wouldn't be mad if you got to actually just run this match back, because I know people have been talking with the whole GYV asking for their release, maybe not getting it because they're clearly here on TV, but like they're good.
They are, yeah.
And like I still wish they were those characters.
I kept on thinking Jagger Reed switched to long pants.
Wearing pants, yeah.
And
Tights.
they had like lightning bolts on here. I kept thinking it was Jericho. I kept looking up and I was like,
the hair,
what?
yeah.
Oh.
No, it's Jagger Reed.
Jagger Reed. Jagger Man.
Yeah, honestly, a great match. A lot of silly gimmicks going on with this, but the wrestling definitely hit. And the story coming out is Julius Creed will one day be WWE champion, because he's just not a human being at this point. Just very impressive. We go to Dijak, who's earlier today coming to NXT. He's in the parking lot, and he's asked about the WWE draft, which is odd because he just left the main roster to come back to NXT. And he says, yeah, that would be pretty good, but like, I don't care about your stupid questions, and kind of like shoves the cameraman. And Apollo Crews is walking by as well and says, hey, come on, he's just doing his job, and like helps the cameraman out. It's a great POV shot of Apollo Crews. If you ever wanted Apollo Crews to help you out of a bush, you would just watch this. And he says, like, show this guy some respect. He's just doing his job. And Dijak says, yeah, well, he should stay out of my way. And you should stay out of my way too. Goes to leave and opens the door. But Apollo Crews is on the other side of him. And Apollo Crews says, yeah, well, you're in my way now. But Dijak already literally went through the door on the other side.
Yeah.
There's just bad timing of the promo to say, well, I'm in your way. Actually, no, he already went through the door.
I'm in your way now. No, I'm off.
I'm out. See ya. So Dijak then goes, oh, yeah, well, like, how about we figure out who's in whose way? And tonight they're going to fight.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Dijak said earlier in this, Ilya was the most feared man in the United States until I stepped in the ring with him. Ilya Dragunov was the most feared man in the United States.
I mean, I don't know about that. There's probably a few.
No, absolutely not. Like, I think he's like, he'd fuck you up, but like, I wouldn't be scared of this. Like, Ilya looks like someone who'd be on my side. Therefore I wouldn't fear him.
Who's the most feared man in the United States? Like, Biden? I don't know.
Apparently it was Ilya Dragunov until last week.
I don't know.
And now it's Dijak.
I'm excited for that match, but also Apollo Crews and Dijak could have a pretty good match, which they do later tonight. We go to, oh man, can't wait to explain this, try to talk about this one. Hard-hitting home truths, enlightening with Nathan Frazer. All right, so we cut to Nathan Frazer sitting at a news desk with a cup of coffee, and it's basically...
It's Last Week Tonight style.
John Oliver.
Satirical news show, right?
Yeah, almost like your news show, The Soup type thing. But John Oliver is definitely what they were mimicking it, because the logo and everything. And yeah, so Nathan Frazer now has this. And he says, hey, with hard-hitting home truths, say that 10 times fast, we're going to learn a lot about me, Nathan Frazer. And he says that NXT has a locker room full of studs and studettes, and then asks himself, is that even a word? Well, it is now. He's making jokes on the fly. He then says, everyone here is quality, so I just don't want to see people bitching here in NXT. And people tell me, like, look, you lost, and it's just you need to slow down. Well, I can't be sad because I never slowed down. And then he starts talking about speed and improvement, and then he says like, but I'll hit you back with another hard hitting home truths. So for now, love ya and leave ya. This has been an enlightening with Nathan Frazer.
He was kind of as he was saying things like speed, he was flashing up like little
Clips,
different funny images and stuff. It was definitely kind of that like satire news show style. A
few people in the chat right now don't believe us. They're like, are you guys just making this up? The guy who flies and wrestles amazing. That guy. Yeah.
I groaned when it started, but you know what? I thought his delivery was pretty good. I thought he kind of got the sort of right rhythms and stuff of these kind of these news hosts. And it's ridiculous, but I've just come to accept this in NXT now. And I see this as almost all these crazy scenes we get. It's acting school, which, you know what, a lot of these people need. Like, I've said it for like a while. Like, wow, if you see Edge when he came back, like after like, you know, doing acting with them, way better. That was kind of stuff. And maybe that's what it is. They're just like putting out these weird acting training video things to help.
You're saying Edge got better? I mean, back in the day, he used to have sex on Raw, and then when I watch him now, he's a floating head. So. No, I know what you mean. You're totally. I think you're right, because I hate that this is his gimmick.
Yeah.
But I think it's just his gimmick right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just a way for him to talk, because I thought the way he was saying his lines was good. The delivery was good, but what he was saying was rubbish.
Yeah, and I thought if you got better material, I think he could be good at this, because I actually kind of thought this was weirdly the best he's ever sounded, even though it was this kind of thing. So yeah, we'll see.
John Oliver, late
I think
news
this
night.
is something that could work.
I mean, Lash Legend isn't around anymore, so we need a talk show.
But also, listen to this guy talk. He's always come across just a bit of a geek. So why not lean into that and actually get some personality out of it, rather than he hasn't sounded like a wrestler. Why not give him a character?
Yeah, he sounds almost too like cheery and just friendly. He still does in this, but
this character lends itself to that in a way.
Yeah,
you know, rather than just be like, oh, I'm just really excited to wrestle, and oh, it's exciting being here. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, well then it's like he's not a heel. So like, again, comparing to like a Lash Legend talk show where she just runs down everyone else, he's not doing that.
But he could use this for against heels.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You know, like he can take the piss out of a Grayson Waller or whatever.
I feel like they're taking the piss out of me, because I watched this and I was like, this guy's got a John Oliver late night Letterman gimmick now, or Jimmy Fallon gimmick.
Where's the lawyer?
Yeah, where's that lawyer guy? Where's all these other gimmicks coming back? NXT never changed, but do. Yeah, hard hitting home truths. You know what really grinds my gears? When they give silly gimmicks to good wrestlers. It felt like a morning show. Like he had his cup of coffee in his hand. And he's, some great coffee. Just good stuff. Well, we go from the enlightening to the Supernova 11. Yeah, did he change his name too?
Why 11?
I don't know. He had it on his back. He had it on his Tron. Supernova 11. Great number.
11's engaged, I saw.
11?
11.
Oh. Like from... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't she like a kid?
Yeah.
Not to Drake, is it?
I hope not. Probably.
No.
Did I... Yeah, she's engaged. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 8 days ago now.
To who?
Her boyfriend.
That's funny, because to me, 11 is...
Actor Jake Bon Jovi.
Sorry. Hold on a second. You're saying 11 from Stranger Things is with who I'm presuming is Bon Jovi's kid?
Let's just say yes.
Wow. That's pretty funny how that happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like Bon Jovi with an I, though. Bon Jovi.
All right. We'll see how that plays out for both. I hope it goes really well for them. Young kids in love. You know?
Yeah.
Stranger Things has one more season coming up.
Does, yeah.
Maybe we'll get some Bon Jovi in it instead of Metallica.
Or instead of Kate, right?
Instead of what?
Kate Bush.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting Beckner, just living on a prayer.
Yeah, that's the one I would go. Yeah, that would be their wedding song.
Yeah.
When I think of 11, I think of Boba Fett. His number.
That is not, wow.
Supernova 11. Boba Fett. Here comes Noam Dar. Noam Dar is now back here on TV in NXT. He showed up last week holding a trophy that some people don't even know what it is, and says that the Heritage Cup is coming soon to NXT. So here he is having a match. He brings it out. He's holding it up. Noam Dar's got kind of like a man bun thing going on.
He does,
He
yeah.
used to have short hair. Dar's going up against Miles Borne. We've seen this guy a few times. This kid is pretty great. People are comparing him to a young Randy Orton online. We also compared him to a young Randy Orton. And I think that's why they did this one specific spot here when Noam goes for the Randy Orton DDT, but then stops and then just kicks him in the head. So I think he too knows a little something about Miles Borne here. But Noam beats him down with a series of knee strikes as well. But Miles comes out of the corner with a series of strikes and then a huge jumping exploder. This kid isn't like massive, but he's jacked and he's super fast. And I thought his wrestling was very impressive here. Dar comes back with a series of elbows and then the Nova Roller, which is basically Axiom's finish.
Yeah, too many people have this running kick, and I don't think
kick
it's
to the face.
particularly impressive. Lyra Valkyria does as well.
Running NXT UK kick.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Well, it was enough to put Miles Borne away, but honestly, I liked what I seen from Noam Dar way back before on the Indies and NXT UK. But again, it's Miles Borne who I remember more so from this match, even in just the little flashes. So I do see big things for him, but
Yeah, and I wonder, like, I don't see too high a ceiling for Noam Dar, which is, he's still pretty young, but I see him now in this company being in that kind of Drew Gulak position. Like, I can see him being a trainer here and things like that.
okay.
And I think his purpose is probably here to help elevate other people. I don't see him being in the same position as we see maybe a Ilya Dragunov or a JD McDonough, other people. Which maybe it's harsh, but that's just kind of where I see it. I think he's very talented, but I think he definitely serves a better purpose helping people like a Miles Borne here, who I thought had his best showing so far.
Yeah, again, this was like, oh, this kid's good. I kind of want to see more of him. So he will be someone who's featured a lot more. But yeah, the Heritage Cup is something that's coming soon with more tournament kind of style. So cool, but I wasn't too blown away from the running kick that every UK superstar does. We go to a video for Roxanne and Zoey Stark. They're going to wrestle tonight. And Roxanne says, Zoey, all you do is prey on the weak here. And everyone knows that character triumphs talent sometimes. And then says, I want my title back. So after I beat you, Indy, I'm going to come and reclaim the title that is mine. And Tiffany, I know you're listening with your self-inflated ego. Tonight, I'm going to shut Zoey up and then I'll shut you up too.
I hated this character triumphs talent line that they kept using throughout tonight's show with Roxanne.
Right. She
'Cause
never said
it's like saying, look, I'm not very talented, but I've got a good personality.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're talented. Like, come on.
Yeah, talent triumphs.
Character and talent, but like,
Right.
yeah, character triumphs talent. I'm like, no.
She kind of
Be
sounded a little
talented, too.
heelish, but she's still the big baby face. But that match coming. Then we get to some real heavy stuff here.
Oh, man.
Part of the main event. Part one of something pretty crazy, especially if you know us and how much we've loved to follow the saga of Brooks Jensen. And well, earlier today in Kiana James' office, we see Josh Briggs walks in and approaches Kiana as she's at her desk. She's really busy working at her office. We're not sure quite what
Doing
she does.
business office work.
Business things. Yeah. Briggs says, look, Kiana, I just want to talk to you. Please give me a moment of your time. I know that you're upset. And she says, you're damn right I'm upset. I lost my title. I'm not a champion anymore. So I guess I have some spare time since you are the reason I'm not a champion anymore. And Briggs says, I just want to talk to my boy, Brooks Jensen. Please. He's not answering my calls. He's not replying. Where is Brooks? I just want to talk to him. And she's like, no, like he doesn't want to see you. He's like, please. And he starts to cry.
He was crying.
Josh Briggs crying here.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's been to acting
That's
school
what
here.
this was the scene I meant earlier.
Just a like Goodwill Hunting moment here
Fantastic.
for Briggs, who starts breaking down and says, you know, me and that kid, we shared a bond, family, and we started up together. We've traveled the world, as he chokes up. When Brooks Jensen walks into Kiana James' office and the camera starts at his feet, and he's wearing leather shoes, and get this, no socks. As the camera pans up, and he's wearing
tight pants.
I mean, I
Like
could see
dress pants, yeah.
division sign there. He's then got a tucked in white shirt, buttoned up, his hair in a ponytail, and glasses that may or may not have had frames in them.
Yeah.
Brooks Jensen. He walks in and he's like, "Oh, hey, Briggs." And Briggs is as shocked as we all are watching this new Brooks Jensen here. And he says, "I thought you'd want to talk to me, but I'm tired. I'm tired of being treated like a kid. And Kiana, she treats me like a man." So this is clearly the NXT version of Rhea and Dom here on NXT. "And I've become my own man," says Brooks. "And this is a man who makes his own decisions. And I'm making a decision for you to leave." Briggs is like, "What?" And he said, "Get out of here." Yeah. Brooks Jensen has turned businessman, kind of, and kicked out his old buddy of the office. What the hell is happening?
He's changing.
Times they are changing. Wow, he went from a country bumpkin to a, I don't know, purse holder.
Yeah. This reminds me of this play, with The Shape of Things.
Okay.
And it's about like this girl who meets a guy and they start dating, but over the course of the like play, she's getting into like, you know, eat better, lose weight, drop the glasses, wear contact lenses, smarten up, dress
this
better.
feels like a lot of movies.
All this thing,
yeah.
but she does it as like it's her art piece. So at the end, it's like a before and after. Look what I turned this guy. And I'm getting those kind of vibes now with Kiana.
Right.
How she's just, because now I think it's very clear. We've been going, who was Sebastian and all that. Now it's like, no, she's a heel, okay?
Yeah.
She's a heel and she's turning him. So it's interesting because I do feel maybe we missed a couple of chapters between like the shove and this. Yeah. I'd have liked to have seen it a bit more gradual turning. Because this has been going for quite a while. It just felt like suddenly overnight this has happened. But yeah, he's turned. I was like, wow, what a transformation.
We were joking about this. I'm pretty sure we said he's gonna wear no socks with his shoes, and of course he is. He got the memo from Bob Stone, Mr. Stone, probably in the office over here at NXT offices. But yeah, it like went from all of a sudden,
because the shove was last week, right?
And then now he's just ponytail, glasses, open shirt.
I mean, I guess gradually he has started dressing better, hasn't he? Has grown out the hair. He used to have it short, so maybe
he's got it shaved on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we think of this fit, the Brooks Jensen?
Oh, it's great.
Oh yeah, I fucking howled.
It's fantastic.
I love this man so much.
There was that thing. What was that Triple H video? It's by the guy who's cancelled now. About how
wrestling is great or whatever.
Wrestling is wrestling, and it's been his whole story arc from like terrorizing.
Yeah.
To now.
I can't wait for Brooks Jensen.
Brooks Jensen, like his whole story arc when he's like one day world champion.
Yeah.
You know, the one to break Roman Reigns' 5,000 day reign. It's Brooks Jensen, and you watch this from like the geek in the bar finishing each other's
sentences.
Yeah. Cooking steak.
Right. Yeah.
To like this version.
I so badly just want to talk about the second half of this, but we have to. It's a hook, so you gotta wait.
All right,
you gotta wait.
Stay
but
tuned.
There's a part 2 in this episode that is just some juicy stuff. But yeah, this is so ridiculous and so like we just did our WrestleMania event where we had the drink menu with different wrestlers and stuff like that. We talked about. We had the Brooks Jensen, which was our virgin cocktail, Moscow Mule, but virgin. and he saw that, he retweeted, he appreciated that, but like I don't think his drink. I don't think the Brooks Jensen's on the Virgin cocktail menu anymore,
He's
buddy.
the mule now.
He looks like a G&T kind of guy now. More business,
Right.
Is that a business
Martini?
drink? Yeah. It's just wrestling is ridiculous, and man, it's great when it's done like this. And I think Brooks Jensen should be the one to beat Wes Lee for the North American title. Kiana's gonna, Kiana's gonna take him to gold. Yeah, but again, we'll get to that. More to come. But we go to our next match. Odyssey Jones. He comes out to the ring. He's in the ring. Got a huge smile on his face. He turns around and he's hit with one of the biggest spears I've ever seen, at least this year. Bron Breakker.
Bron is up there with one of the best spears.
He's got a great spear.
He's modeled it on Goldberg's.
Of course. Sure. His unofficial.
But it's a very similar spear to Goldberg.
Yeah.
They look great.
Especially on this guy who's huge here. 6'6". Vic, this was done really well. Vic is like just explaining. Look at the size of this guy, 6'6", whatever pounds. Boom, speared out of his damn boots here. Looked great. Bron is a heel, and he's pretty good at it so far. The boos are loud. He has the microphone, and he says, I'm so sick of these people, these idiots, these fat rednecks, saying that they see a different side of me. Well, yeah, it's a different side of me, and I like this side of me, and there's going to be a lot more of it. When he's interrupted, he also mentions people bringing out fake trophies. Now, I know he's referring to Duke Hudson and the whole Chase U MVP trophy ceremony. It also could be seen as Noam Dar bringing this fake trophy. That's how I saw it. Duke Hudson then comes out and interrupts him, but he's in the crowd with the Chase U like students and people who are all like supporting him here. And Duke Hudson is on fire tonight. He says he's carrying his trophy, and he says that, look, Bron, ever since you lost your title, you're just sad. You're just moping around. And the crowd start to chant loser at Bron Breakker, which pisses him off. And he says, now you want to come out here and be a big bully. You want to attack us. You want to attack Chase U. Well, I got a big challenge for you. How about at Spring Breakin'? And Bron interrupts him and says, like, Duke, you want to, like, come out here? And Duke interrupts Bron and says, I wasn't done talking. And he fires up here. I've never heard this guy speak. He was great. Like this.
He was like, Bron Breakker thinks the MVP has stopped talking. And the crowd like lose their mind.
Yeah, everyone went nuts.
Has Duke Hudson stopped talking? And they're like,
no. And then he keeps ripping into Bron here.
It's fantastic.
And says, I wasn't done talking. And, little Bronny Breakker, you wanna, interrupt us? You want to step up to Chase U? Well, it's going to be a battle of the giants. The legend, the beacon of hope, the beating heart of Chase U. It's going to be Bron Breakker versus Andre Chase. And then everyone in the crowd's like, wait a second. You were just bigging up yourself there. And then he just slides in that actually it's going to be Andre there and says, Spring Breakin' next week, Andre Chase, Bron Breakker. And Bron just shakes his head. Like, I'm surprised he wasn't corpse in here. Maybe he was. The cameras only catches him when he looks at the camera now and says, Andre Chase, you're probably watching this. I want you to know that you have 7 days left to breathe. I'm going to spear your little ass in half. And when I do, it's going to be the end of Chase. What a segment.
I'm kind of down for this match. Chase U have been so entertaining. Duke Hudson especially has been fantastic. I thought he was so funny here.
Yeah.
So charismatic. And it still plays in the character where it's like part of him, you could see it as doing it as a good thing. Like he's helping Andre get a big match on the big TV show. Another part is he's just feeding him to this guy. Which I think is really entertaining. I think it's going to continue that story next week, and actually could be a fun match between. But I thought this segment was great.
Yeah, from the spear to Bron is the heel.
Sounding good.
Yeah, Bron sounding good. The crowd are really against him right now. The crowd here helps, and then Duke sounding the best he's ever sounded. This weird comeback story of someone that we thought was just cast aside one too many times, really proving himself. Honestly, like. This guy should be set for main roster. If this is how promos you have in the tank, like honestly, this was super surprising to me. We've watched this guy in and out of WWE a bit, but never seen him talk like this. The seriousness, but the comedy and like the way he was selling himself and then swaps out to Andre. I thought this was great.
Yeah,
So
he's very good.
I don't know what happens now, because does this all just lead to him next week? Bron said it's the end of Chase U, but you would still imagine Duke versus Bron is something we go to. So
yeah, I mean, eventually we're getting Chase v Duke as well at some point
the
when
week
we get
after.
there. But yeah,
I love this more than I should have, for sure. We go to Cora Jade, and she is backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell, and she's saying how, you know, she came out here last week and was cutting down everyone, and, you know, I had a lot more things I could have said because I am the savior of NXT women's division. When Gigi interrupts her, because they have a match tonight, and says, you didn't cut down anyone, you just ran your mouth and like spewed out a lot of garbage, so tonight I'm going to shut you up too. So that match is happening later, but more on that match, I guess, later. It was kind of quick, but very CM Punk cosplay from Cora Jade. I'm the savior. Have you heard? She did that last week, right?
she said, "Have I got your attention now?"
Every week it's little things of Punk. We go to Pretty Deadly backstage. I don't know what was in the water in Florida this week. I mean, hopefully good things. I know Florida's had some crazy weather actually. So, but Pretty Deadly were a bit different this week as well. First of all, they're wearing shirts or jackets at least, and they say they're like a different tone here. They're not saying yes boy.
They're serious.
Yeah.
Like last week we had the big attack, and they seemed a lot more vicious because they got kidnapped. They got stuffed in a trunk.
And that's what they say here. They like, look, last week we beat up and took it to Tony D and Stacks because they started it. They ambushed us. And is it Kit he's like, yo, they put me in the trunk of their car and drove off. He's like, and we're supposed to be the bad guys? Like, we were kidnapped. What were we supposed to do? Like, what the hell? We're just two good-looking guys, and those ruffians, well, they want to fight with us. We're going to give them a bit of payback, and we will show them that we can handle a beating, and we want to match like some of the stuff that they're into, like anything goes. And they'll be the ones in the trunk, and they'll be sleeping with the fishes. Pretty Deadly.
They called out for a trunk match.
A trunk match.
Yeah. We said this last week.
Yeah, we did. Someone was listening to us last week. There's too many coincidences and little things. But yeah, trunk match. Last Bride match.
Yeah.
Similar thing.
I like how basically in wrestling, it's like, look, when we're at the arena, it's fair game. If you attack me in the dressing room, whatever, that's fine. I'm a wrestler. I'm at work. But don't fucking kidnap me.
Yeah.
As soon as you throw me in the back of a car and drive me off, now I'm pissed. No more yes boy.
Yeah. Which is a shame because they did drop a new Yes Boy t-shirt on WWE, which is pretty nice. But they should just sell the outfits they wear.
Yeah.
That would be a hot seller, I would imagine. We go to Roxanne Perez versus Zoey Stark. And these two go at it here one-on-one. And there's lots of near falls and tangles back and forth. I think both are really good and get quite technical and fast. So lots of fast near falls. Eventually, Stark counters a head scissors and has enough of Roxy's stuff and kicks her right in the gut and starts putting the boots to her on the outside as they go to commercial break. When we come back, Zoey's still beating her up. She has her upside down and then shoves her running into the turnbuckle and puts her in a tree of woe and then keeps doing this like slingshot. So she slingshots Roxy into the turnbuckle face first, and then eventually she tries to do it again, but this time Roxy counters, jumps, and hits the Stez press and then just fires off at Zoey with just a series of strikes and punches to the head, and then goes for the pop rocks, but it's blocked, and then Roxy eats a huge super kick, and then Zoey hits her with this crazy looking half and half suplex, one of my favorite moves, but somehow Roxy kicks out of that. Zoey picks her up, and she's going for what I would imagine is the setup for the Z80 or whatever she calls it, the Zoey go round. Cool move, terrible name. But instead, Roxanne counters and hits the pop rocks out of the corner for the 1, 2, 3 and puts Zoey away, who looked pretty upset afterwards. But what'd you think? Yeah,
I think these are two of the best women in the roster, and they had a pretty nice match. Both are just really quite smooth. And I thought it showed here some nice counters right into that finish. I thought this was decent.
Yeah, it wasn't like too long. It wasn't getting too crazy and technical, but both of them, like you said, are up there when it comes to the in-ring stuff for sure. Zoey, I'm not sure where we go, like eating a loss like this. Like, is main roster something? separate
she's
shows.
definitely become more interesting since the heel turn to me. I think it fits her so much better. And yeah, actually a call up wouldn't. She's perfectly ready. She's great in the ring.
Yeah.
And if you're about to freshen up the rosters a bit, maybe. I don't know where I see her kind of being main roster tag division, maybe. But maybe there's a higher ceiling for her because she's very good.
Same with Roxy. Yeah.
Roxy, I see bigger things for. I think
Yeah.
she's just such a natural babyface, and I think she could be. I think she could go very far.
Well, after the match, Indy Hartwell, the NXT Women's Champ, she comes out and stands face to face with Roxy and says, "Hey, I heard what you said. I know that I won the match, and people are saying that I'm, just lucky and won the match and the ladder match. So how about I give you a match at Spring Breakin'?" And Roxy says, "Hey, that's really great and nice of you to say. I accept this match." When Tiffany Stratton's music hits, she comes out and she says, "What? Roxanne doesn't deserve a title shot. She's a beatable champion. Just like you, Indy. You're easily beatable. I've beaten you before. I could do it again." And this pisses off Indy Hartwell, who says, "Beatable? Beatable? Okay, fine. Well, how about we change this match next week, and I'll prove that I'm worthy, and I'll beat both of you. A former champ and a bimbo who has my number." Now, the match next week is a triple threat match for the Women's Championship. But pretty good.
Yeah, Roxy brings up that I'm beatable. Well, I beat you in the breakout tournament.
That's so 2022, honey, says Tiff.
Yeah, I feel a little mad if I was Roxanne. Like, you promised your one-on-one.
Yeah, hey.
You never had, and then it's like, no, it's...
Right, so Indy's got to retain here.
Yeah, when it was going to be the one-on-one, I kind of thought, oh, maybe this is... you're going to turn Indy heel to retain over Roxanne. Sorry, yeah, Roxanne. As a triple threat, yeah, Indy's winning this.
Yeah, I hope so. I want Tiff as the champ, but just not quite yet.
Yeah, Indy's just won this thing. She's got to kind of retain.
Yeah. We go to Grayson Waller backstage. He's got the golden shoey and is wearing what looks like one of Carmelo Hayes' old shirts that he wore quite a few times on NXT. Mackenzie mentions, "Hey, Waller, I know tonight you have your Waller effect with Melo, and next week you have your title shot, but you're still coming off your loss to Johnny Gargano from Stand and Deliver." And Waller says, no, that was unsanctioned, so it's unrecognized. It never happened. Who cares? And no one cares because everyone knows that no one is better than Melo except me. And tonight I'm going to talk with him in the ring. Maybe next week I'll be drinking out of this shoey, the golden shoey. Hope he hasn't worn that. That's the thing about the shoey I don't like.
I mean, I think that's
part of it.
Part of it. I know,
sick Aussie.
Don't you?
We go to Mr. Oh, this is interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, wow. Turn of events here, guys. Mr. Stone and Von Wagner. This is from last week, apparently. And this feels like a part out of a TV show where the girl is leaving or the guy's leaving and they're like, "No, honey, please wait. I can change. Stop. Wait, please. Stop."
It has been this
yeah.
Robert Stone, Von Wagner.
So Mr. Stones for weeks has been saying, like, "Look, dude, you lose a lot. You suck. All you do is roar. The best thing about you is come Tuesday, like,
yeah,
I'm leaving you. And you have to prove yourself." So Von lost. So here's Mr. Stone.
Let me help you.
Yeah, let me help you. Help me. Mr. Stone says, "Hey, see ya. I'm leaving." And he's leaving. And Von is like, "No, please. I'm ready to open up. See, I always wanted to be in the WWE and be a wrestler, and it's in my blood. My dad was a Beverly brother." Mr. Stone looks at him and goes, "It's a start." Walk off together. Holy shit. It's taken this long to just say, "Hey, this guy's dad was a wrestler." I thought for a second he was going to go, "If it's good enough for Cody Rhodes, it's good enough for you." Yeah, just talk about how your dad was a wrestler. That's your gimmick. Let's go, Von. So they're not split up.
I'm ready to see what happens next. Right, we're going to have...
It's been just a day for this show.
Reconnection success.
Von Beverly. That should be his name. Von Beverly.
Von Beverly?
Von Beverly. That should be his name. Yeah, that would be good. I would dig that. All right. We can move on here.
Yeah.
What else happened? Oh, we get Axiom You want to wait a sec?
No, I think we're live.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it says we're live.
We're live, pal. Been a hell of a night. What a night. What a WrestleMania. All right, well, I'm going to continue. All right, we're going back to Axiom. To promo here. He's looking at himself in the mirror, sort of, even though he's wearing a mask. Axiom says, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a man in the mask. I only see Axiom. And Axiom is my identity. And then it shows this comic book style of like a feud between him and Scripps and what's been going on there. And it shows that Scripps, you just want to create fear. You just want to intimidate. You think that you are my arch nemesis. Well, you're not. And says, I will expose you and be done with you. Sincerely, Axiom.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in what he's saying here.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have this match and Axiom's going to do away with him pretty easily and move on.
No, I mean, I love the comic book. They went away from the math stuff, and now it's just straight up comic book. We've seen this with...
It always looks cool when they do that kind of graphic.
I'm thinking back to Stardust and Pac and stuff like that, Stephen Amell and stuff, but it looked like the chapters, right?
Yeah.
Whoever did the effects. Remember when they had the Xia Li one, the graphics and cartoons and stuff? Like, that was pretty cool, too. So whoever's doing these, very impressive. We haven't seen it in a while. But superhero versus supervillain. Is this next week at Spring Breaking?
They didn't announce it. So,
but they're selling it as a big superhero matchup.
You say superhero v supervillain, it is, except the supervillain is, Professor Chaos.
Yeah, we said it's one of the B, C level ones. Is this just like one of my favorite comic books is Ultimate Spider-Man, where Spider-Man he's beefing with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
But then Kraven the Hunter is like keeps tripping at him, but then it turns out like Kraven was a complete fraud. It took like one punch and he's out, and he's like, "Oh, you're just a TV, like you're just a fake.
Yeah.
You're not a real bad guy." And then goes and deals with Doc Ock. Is that like what Scripps is, or
he's the fake bad guy before the real bad guy?
Right. Or is Scripps? Yeah. What is that? Butters.
Yeah.
That's Scripps.
Yeah.
Is Scripps, or like, is he just gonna kick Scripps with the golden ratio and pin him like in seconds, or is Scripps gonna flip the script and unmask Axiom, revealing
maybe
that he's a kid,
maybe
that he's a kid?
I mean, it could be like Axiom's incredibly talented, and I think we know Scripps is kind of Cirque du Soleil stuff. I think they could put together maybe a pretty entertaining match. It's just the Scripps character is so awful.
So funny.
But yeah, maybe he does unmask him and goes proper evil supervillain.
Axiom, you say? Just like when the Riddler finds it. Yeah, I could go off about superhero stuff, but this is ridiculous, and I'm all for it. I'm just happy he's not like, yes, I'll use my math, and like he's moved away from that, right?
He didn't do it a lot.
Yeah.
Like before it was only really his vignettes before he started, and once he started,
there's a few. His Titantron is still numbers.
His Titantron has numbers, but apart from that.
We get a TikTok video of Sol Ruca and Danny Palmer and some of the new recruits that we've been seeing, including Tank Ledger, who comes in and everyone's celebrating and so happy for Tank that he's here wrestling in NXT. And they mention that Danny is going to be making her debut soon, and we will be watching.
Yeah, this was another TikTok, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like this one quite as much as some of the others because it felt a lot more staged, because the camera's just there and they're having a conversation about, just good luck on your next match and well done, Tank.
I mean, it was Sol Ruca and Danny practicing dances.
They were doing dances.
Everyone these days does.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Like, what a world we live in, where there's just tripods with phones like everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
It's just crazy. We go to Welcome to the Generation of Jade. Jade Cargill versus Gigi Dolin.
Or Jade.
What did I say?
Jade Cargill.
Oh, man. The Generation of Jade. There's only one, and it's not Cora Jade. I'm sorry. Vic Joseph says Cora Jade's delusional, and I'm thinking I'm a little delusional because I'm like, I wrote Jade Cargill, so good stuff. So Gigi is fired up at Jade here and just starts to beat her up and attack her, and just keeps getting the best of Jade here, and Jade keeps trying to escape to like catch a breath, but Gigi throws her into the turnbuckle and then runs at her and hits the Bronco Buster on her. And then Jade again tries to get her with a move, but Gigi counters that and hits a backstabber for a near fall. And then Gigi starts hitting these like roundhouse kicks repeatedly and like knocking Jade down when JC Jane shows up on the apron yet again, distracting Gigi, gets in the ring. They fight on the outside, and Gigi throws JC Jane into the commentary desk, right into Booker T, sending him flying. Booker T down, and Gigi goes back in the ring. And
this is every week now, right?
This is a constant thing. DDT by Cora, and she pins Gigi and wins the match. And then Gigi and JC fight, and JC runs off. But the real story here is, Book, are you okay? No, it's getting a bit. It's ridiculous. It's getting a bit ridiculous. This is Sean Ribbon in every week,
just
right?
gonna say it's got to be Sean going, and then
All right,
and then throwing a book. He'll be all right. I've told him.
He knows about it. He knows about it. Really? He must, because he sells it. He's selling it.
The worker, of course.
Oh my God, he sounded so mad. I hope this is just a bit they're in on, because this is a repeated thing now.
Because we had it in the Gargano Waller match, right?
Yeah.
Was that the last time?
Okay.
I feel we've had it like
few times
very recently.
Yeah.
So let's keep an eye open on this.
It's getting a little goddamn ridiculous around here. Getting people thrown in. You could hear like Vic's like, all right, like the match is over. So he's like, hey, we're trying to, get things going. And Booker, you all right? No,
yeah.
I'm not. Jade?
Yeah, the match was okay. There was a really awkward moment where they were like, well, just before throwing into Book, actually, where they fell out the ring. It looked a little clunky. But it was okay. I couldn't say this really connected with me, this one.
No, not really. But Jade has the mic, and she is interrupted right away. The lights go out, and there's smoke, and the bird lady appears on like the perch or something somewhere and says, Cora Jade, we will engage in battle. So
she looked like Elphaba from Wicked here. She looked like she was singing Defying Gravity, just flying above. Exactly. But yeah, we're finally going to that match at Spring Breakin', right?
Yeah. She says the time of talking is too much. The bird lady, your gimmick is bird lady, right? And you're telling someone they talk too much. The one thing you could have said is, you know what, Cora Jade? You squawk too much.
Oh, you're going to say hush your beak.
Yeah, you stop. You're beacon. Stop it. Stop your beacon. But instead, you talk too much. And we're going to engage in battle of the bird lady.
We need bird person from Rick and Morty to come in.
Bird person, bird man, bird lady.
Oh, yeah. Get Michael Keaton in there.
Yeah, get Michael Keaton entrance. For one day, bird lady will have a WrestleMania entrance, and Keaton will...
All the bird people.
There's got the birds... I can't remember who's in that movie, but the Birds is up for, like, they're remaking Vertigo, Hitchcock Vertigo.
Okay. I've stayed at that hotel.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It's apparently Robert Downey Jr. who's in charge of this. He's gonna be in it in this Vertigo. But like Birds is something you think with special effects these days. You can. Everyone's scared of birds.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared of bird ladies like Cora Jade. So that match is.
Oh, you've got the Pierce Morgan bird lady as well.
Home Alone 2, Pierce Morgan. Yeah, he looked good in that movie. So that match is next again. I don't know if it's next week. I think it is.
I think they said that's next week. Spring Breakin'.
We go to Eddie Thorpe backstage being interviewed by Mackenzie, and she's like, "Hey, how's it being here in NXT so far?" He says, "I've been everywhere. I've traveled the world to get here. I've slept in my car to wrestle. I just want to make my family proud and my friends proud." And people have like these stereotypical views of North American images and people, and that's when he's interrupted by Damon Kemp, who says, "Hey, I've just been watching you from afar. I want to say, keep up the good work, kid." And Thorpe is like, all right, well, thanks. I imagine setting up a match between the two. He's been watching him.
I'm actually more interested in this than what we've seen with Eddie Thorpe so far. We've just seen him against like jobbers so far. And Damon Kemp, I think, has been quite capable in this heel role on the mic and stuff, and I like his ring style very much. The kind of, cut angle wrestling style, the suplexes, the Creed brother kind of thing. So I'm interested in this. I think it could be a good first like proper feud for Eddie.
When they cut back to Vic being like, "Hey, we're gonna come back from commercial," Booker is still mad. He's just realigning himself, sitting down. He's like, just furious. We then go to Big Daddies, part 2 of the saga of Brooks Jensen. Now, correct us if we're wrong here, but Big Daddies is the bar that Gallus goes to. But here they're saying Big Daddies is the bar Fallon owns.
Yeah.
All right. Just
So
some continuity.
I think this is the first confirmation that it's the same.
We assumed
place.
it was, but they never said that.
So it's been.
We're asking the hard-hitting
So
questions.
that's why things have been better recently, because Gallus have only recently come back, and therefore that's why Fallon's business
no one else in
is
Florida
getting a bit more successful now.
Right. Big Daddies. Yeah. A few listeners.
And then a few weeks ago, they had Tony D, Stacks, and the Creeds there.
Yeah, true. That was like us at Gabby's.
Yeah.
Selling out the bar.
Yeah.
Those guys. So we're at Big Daddy's. Fallon Henley and Josh Briggs. He walks in and is talking to Fallon like, look, I talked to him earlier today. He wanted nothing to do with me. He was, talking reckless. He was talking, all this stuff. When Kiana James and Brooks Jensen walk into the bar, he's still dressed ridiculous like the way he was dressed before. I don't know. Is it an improvement? Is it a glow up?
He looks good.
He looks good. The ponytail might need.
He looked good. He looked good just before this.
Yeah, he was looking good before. I like the mullet.
His middle stage.
Yeah, the mullet was good. The flow was nice, and I'm not digging the ponytail as much. It's hilarious though for the character. So Kiana didn't walk in, and Briggs is like, "Oh, like Brooks, you're here." Briggs says, "Look, that's stuff you said to me earlier today. I know you didn't mean it." And Brooks is like, "Yes, I did. I meant every word of it." Kiana just reminds me that I'm the star of this team. And Briggs, you're just jealous. You're jealous of me. You're jealous of our relationship. The same with you, Fallon. You're just jealous that I'm happy, that we're happy. So I'm here to lay out a challenge. Spring breaking, mixed tag, Kiana and Brooks versus Fallon and Josh.
Wow.
And then Fallon, they accept. They say, well, if you got nothing else, you can yeehaw your bitch out of my bar. And they walk out.
Yeah, I can't believe we're getting the match
wow,
already.
This is real fast. This
like...
is like the show you're watching. Like they had like 3 or 4 episodes left in the season, and then ABC's like, nah, actually we're cutting it. All right, can we at least like wrap it up quicker? Yeah, just finish it off. All right.
It does feel like that, because like how close these two have been, you would think it's going to be like, no, I'm not going to fight him.
Yeah.
Like Briggs should be doing that. No, I'm not fighting you.
Fight you.
But he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's go next week.
I'm going to teach you a little respect. So he's like, actually like, you know what? Yeah, I've been waiting for this for a while.
This isn't a singles match yet. And I guess Fallon and Kiana have been more at odds than these two. But yeah, I don't think this is the pinnacle of this story.
This is my main event next week.
But it is.
This is the main event next week for us.
You know what I want to see with Big Daddies is
they should do watch parties.
Well, you know, like how DDP, wasn't it? He owned the bar that like a lot of the wrestlers went to.
Okay.
And he was like, he'd start driving them home and things like that.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we'll train at my gym. So we started training at the gym and then became a wrestler.
Yeah.
We need that character. We've seen it with Hank, who's like the security.
Okay.
We need the character who just start him out now, where he's just always at the end of the bar sitting.
Right.
And then just have him as a regular. And then finally it starts building up to one day
regular. There's
a bar fight. And this guy steps in.
Dr. Frazer Crane.
And then he gets his first match.
Noam. It's funny you say that because on WoW, Women of Wrestling, which everyone should watch. It's a great show. One of my favorite storylines this year in wrestling, maybe ever, is the heels like were driving somewhere and their car breaks down, so they call like a tow truck, and this mother-daughter tow truck drivers like help them out so they can get to the show, and they're like, here's some free tickets to WoW. So the girls show up and they're like, wow, we're at like WoW, this is crazy. Then they see the bad guys like are beating down on some good guys, so they step in, and now they're on the roster.
Right. Exactly.
And they're the mother truckers. They're actually a mother-daughter.
Mother truckers.
They're actually a mom-daughter combo,
Nice.
which is crazy. But like that's the story. That's the storyline.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's so funny. So I'm like, yeah, that could happen. But right now we need to stick to like we're seeing Brooks Jensen now in this business character with Kiana teaming against his former friends.
Yeah.
I think Brooks and Kiana win.
They should. Yeah, they should.
And then brag about it and how business is up. And
like, I think Brooks and Briggs will figure things out eventually. But
yeah,
we've just got to go through this stage.
Yeah, this isn't like the end for these guys, right? Like he's got to realize that
this is Brooks going through his teenage phase, right?
He's got to realize she's
I hate
using
you, Mom.
him.
I hate you, Dad. And then like he'll come out the other side and like he'll come back.
Like, is the joke gonna be like after a few weeks that like she realized, or maybe Brooks gets pins and she realizes, you know what, you're a loser. I don't want to be with you. And Briggs is like, see, you're doing this over a girl. Like you're just doing this over because you're.
Well, eventually Brooks should dump Kiana. Is that
Whoa.
like Brooks should be the one like, oh, I'm over you. I've got bigger things going on.
We don't know. She
or
could still be.
Throw her out of her business. He'll go with G. He'll take the business with G.
I don't blame him.
She's been in the office the whole time. She knows the inner workings of that business, and they take over the business. Character. He also buys Fallon's bar. Big Daddy's becomes Big Brooks.
You're going along. You're going to like really fast pace. But the storyline is
the way it went tonight. Yeah, it's
like, when's the wedding at this point? Like, it's wrestling. We need the wrestling wedding. Like,
oh yeah, we've got to have the wrestling.
B2 will be the walk him down the aisle.
Yes.
His dad, B2.
Yeah.
Get Vaughn and his dad too in there. Just all the dads. I know this storyline is my main event next week. I don't know what's gonna happen, but Brooks Jensen, even though you're a heel right now, we're still in your corner.
He's not full heel yet, is he?
He was pretty mean. If me or you each other talk to each other the way he talked to Briggs today, that's not how friends talk.
But man,
he's
pissed. Like Briggs and Fallon.
His balls are in her purse, man. Like he's a little blinded right now.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So
he's just got to work it out for himself, though. I think
this is like
Briggs will if Briggs really is his big brother, he'll forgive him.
Anyways, Dijak and Apollo happened. We're just more invested in this love,
it's great
relationship storyline than anything else here. But that's happening next week, and I'm excited.
Yeah, these two young upstarts on the developmental show, Dijak and Apollo Crews, have a match.
Yeah, so Hard Justice. Dijak got the jacket back from Brock, and he's fighting Apollo Crews here. You know what? This was pretty good. There's some suplexes back and forth where they're fighting. Apollo's got the wrist control and hit some Germans on Dijak, who of course is pretty big here. When we come back from break, Apollo counters Dijak out of the corner and hits a jumping blockbuster off the top for a 2 count. Dijak comes back and counters Apollo and hits the huge discus boot for a 2. And the crowd is super into this, but Apollo kicks out. We've seen Dijak put people away with this recently. So the crowd is super hot for this. Apollo lays out Dijak and goes for his standing moonsault. But Dijak moves while he's moving, like doing the moonsault, and catches him with a choke and sets up for the choke slam, the Hard Justice. But Apollo kicks out of that as well. Apollo goes for something. Is it the powerbomb toss, the unnamed finisher? But Dijak counters that and eventually picks him up, racks him up for the Feast Your Eyes, which Apollo's no small cat either.
Yeah, he got him off the turnbuckle, I think, for it, right? Looked
pretty cool here. And puts Apollo down for the 1, 2, 3. Feast Your Eyes. Dijak wins.
Yeah, this was pretty good. It is a bit weird to watch a match like this in this era of NXT. Like, who really does this serve? These are both veterans at this point. But they are trying to heat up Dijak for this Ilya match. But wow, another L for Apollo. Like he's racking him up, isn't he? But no, I thought these two had they both worked that athletic big man style really well, and I did think it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do with either of these guys at this point? Like, they're good. It's just nothing really has heated up, worked that well, I guess, character-wise.
They've been sent back here for a refresh in NXT.
And was a weird refresh.
To be able to, work better matches than they're able to do on main event, I guess, or whatever. But the refresh for both of them hasn't worked character-wise. So you really go, what do you do with these guys at this point? They are talented. They're good wrestlers, but it hasn't clicked the main roster, and I don't think anything they've done here has really served to help them.
like they've helped other people. Dijak has helped Wes
Yeah.
with that singles match a few, months back. That
True.
was great. So
And the Ilya match is going to be great.
yeah, after this, Ilya Dragunov runs out wearing his all-black John Wick suit and attacks Dijak and just starts slapping the taste out of his mouth. And it's a huge pull apart. And we're going to get this match next week, I believe. Or I haven't announced this match for next week, but maybe it's the week after that.
I think it's next.
So we then go to JC Jane. This is her walking out of the arena. She's in the parking lot. She should be careful. She says, if Gigi thought that I was done with her, well, that's just nothing. This is just the beginning. She forgot about me. Well, just like she forgot that when she was 17, she abandoned her baby brother. She left him for that mother's abuse. And, well, Gigi, you think you're a noble soul wrestling on the indies or couch surfing when your 7-year-old brother was fending for himself with your drug-addicted mother, and gets in her car and drives off. What a mean lady, this Jason. This one from 0 to 100, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not used to really hearing things on WWE TV really get this personal
like I'm thinking back to like anytime CM Punk's stories, there are always people like
MJFS, getting like nasty,
just being mean. Gigi Dolin has been very like open about like her family, and she always is very like posting with her younger brother on social media and kind of has explained her story in the past. So it is interesting if you're aware that they brought that into the storyline. Maybe the brother gets his debut.
It makes sense for the story though, because the thing that's like hurt Gigi so much is that she has let JC in. She let JC know all about this, and because she trusted her as a friend, and now she's using it against him. So storyline wise, it makes sense that she'll go this far. It's just not really used to watching it on this show where other people are fighting over universities and bars and enlightenment, and then suddenly it's like you abandoned your 7-year-old, left him with your abusive alcoholic mother.
Sorry, this just got real.
Like, okay.
Yeah, like I just watched the Terminator guy fight the guy who could see the future, and now you're talking about like real stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, this took it back.
I really liked the stuff with Gigi last week though, her vignette, kind of explaining everything. Right. So, this definitely has made it way more personal.
Oh yeah, Gigi's got to beat the crap
Shit
out of her. Yeah,
yeah.
she's gonna kill her after this promo. This was nasty. I thought JC sounded really unlikable, so she did her job for sure. But kind of cheap heat using that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's getting the story somewhat heated. Maybe next week JC throws Gigi into Booker T. Things get even more out of control. We go to our next match, North American title on the line. The champ, Wes Lee, taking on Charlie Dempsey, William Regal Jr. here. Right before the match starts, when Wes is making his entrance, Drew Gulak, who's like Charlie's manager, mentor. Charlie's a protege. He jumps the bell and attacks Wes when the ref isn't looking right before the bell rings, and just puts the boots to him and throws him in the ring. And the ref is like, hey, Wes, are you good to fight? And he's like, yeah, ring the bell. So Charlie then just runs at him again and is just beating down on him. Eventually, Wes starts to counter him, and Wes showing just his speed and athleticism here, countering everything. He sends Charlie to the outside and then hits a standing conhilo, just landing on him and landing on his feet. Like it was absolutely light work, just nothing. As they go to break, we come back, we see Wes has got some sort of bloody mouth. It's probably from one of these nasty European uppercuts that Dempsey keeps hitting him with and then just grinding him down. He does this arm jerk that Wes sells like he took like a DDT on his head, spiking him, and then another one sending him into the turnbuckle. And then Charlie is just like beating down on him. There's more uppercuts. Booker T's going off about Evel Knievel and all sorts of weird stuff. Wes starts to fight back, but then again gets grounded with a dragon screw and then a beautiful butterfly suplex, just like his father. William Regal always used to do that. And then a German with a bridge, but Wes kicks out. And then another, and Wes kicks out. Finally, Wes fights back. There's a series of kicks. And then like a jumping, flying enziguri, which sets up for the cardiac kick. And Wes connects and puts Charlie Dempsey down for the 1-2-3 and retains the North American title. But Drew, after the match, attacks him yet again here. So I imagine we're going towards that match in the future. But I know Wes has been on this like hot streak lately. Like I mentioned, that Dijak match, that 5-way match. Like Wes has absolutely been killing it, not taking anything away from him. But Charlie Dempsey, like William Regal's kid, got it going on. He's kind of legit.
Yeah, he looked fantastic here. They did some really nice, just like chain wrestling at the beginning, and then these the suplexes from Dempsey. Especially he did this German with a bridge, like right into the European clutch.
Yeah,
which looked really nice. Like I'd love to see him tie it up with Zack Sabre Jr. one day. You know, I think that could be excellent.
Is this guy retiring, Bryan Danielson?
Dempsey?
Sorry, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But Wes Lee as well, man. This whole open challenge thing has been so good for him. And I think it's kind of like, thinking about it, might make him one of the best North American champions we've ever had. Yeah. He's had so many great matches with this title. I always think the open challenge thing works really nicely for baby faces. It gives everyone such an opportunity to have like a great competitive match, and really puts the championship and the champion over. I think we're seeing the same with like Orange at the moment with that title in AEW, and we've seen it in the past. Obviously, the Siino US title run is one people remember, but I think he's been doing a really great job with this, and this puts another like very solid match on Wes Lee's list from this year.
Yeah, and then going to Drew after, like, that's going to be great,
which
too.
Would be great
so,
as
yeah.
well.
But yeah, Wes, I still see big things for him now. Like, just been on this crazy run. Would love to see him on the main roster. There's so many different guys that I think not only could he hang with, but maybe even outshine, that are already on the main roster. But Dempsey, being such a young up-and-comer here, like, this was his first, like, long, serious, he's the title match, right? Like, this was good, and I was really impressed from him. He's got like the mean mug, and he's got the wrestling just like his dad. So I'm in, and I think he should be the one to finally retire Danielson, because that will happen. You'll come back.
I'm trying to see how old he is.
Got to be super young, man.
He's good though. I do
Dempsey
like
versus like a lot of guys down the line will be something for sure. I see big things for both these guys. Wes, but yeah, great match. Maybe my match of the night, because I don't know. I really love that opener as well.
It was a strong night for wrestling, I thought, in NXT.
Well, we go from that, Wes Lee retaining. We now go to some sort of Italian restaurant somewhere. Cue the Godfather knockoff music, because Tony D and Stax are having a dinner meeting. And they're talking about how Pretty Deadly attacked them last week and beat them up. And Tony lost his hat. His hat got wrecked.
Hat got destroyed.
And he said, Uncle Carmine gave me that hat. And he says, these guys want to fight us? Stack says, what streets have they ever even been down? What are we going to do to them, huh, Tony? Huh? What are we going to do? We're going to do like we always do? We're going to take them down to the docks, huh? We're going to take care of them, leave them? And Tony says, yeah, remember that time with Paulie Montgomery? Stax goes, yeah, I remember. The big Frazer. Yeah. So wait, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, I am. They want to play rough, huh? Well, the glove's going to come off. We're going to have ourselves good old-fashioned trunk match. As Tony D quotes, yeah, a trunk match. Old school Paisan style. And then Stax and him laugh, and they go, oh, yeah, it's going to be a long night and a long drive for Pretty Deadly.
Tony D has had a lot of gimmick matches so far in NXT, hasn't he?
Oh,
he had the recent prison match with Dijak.
Yeah.
He had like a crowbar on a pole match, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's now having a trunk match.
He had like
He was in War Games.
Like, did they have a boat match? No, they just were on the boat, right?
Yeah, he's had a few.
Man, this was pretty funny.
This was funny.
Sorry. I had to look up who Paulie Montgomery is. I was like, is this like a mob character I'm not familiar with? When it's the real shoot name of Pauly Shore.
Right.
So maybe it's a little joke there, but yeah.
Must be exhausting. Do you reckon they just all the time, like the cameras aren't even rolling and they're still remember that time when my other family member did this
Tony
and then
Ralph.
Paulie did this and Ralphie on this.
Vito.
Just non-stop.
Imagine these guys like never watched Sopranos. They're just like, this is just like our gimmick. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. This was pretty funny. I'm excited for the trunk match.
I'm excited for the trunk match. Why
NXT's
not?
on a roll right now.
It is
a great episode. We then go from that to a vignette, and it's just a camera like outside somewhere, like in the middle of the day in like a field. We see like a TV getting thrown and smashing, and then like a keg, and then another TV, and then a giant couch, and then it cuts to this giant big motherfucker. What is this guy's name? Obafemi, who's debuting next week as he just looks at the camera all menacing.
He threw fucking sofas across the field.
Hold on a second. He did not throw that couch. That's cap. I'm sorry.
Couch like outside. Just like launched
I'm totally believing a guy can throw a couch, but the angle of it was like they threw that off a fucking roof. That's some bullshit. No, he didn't throw that one. That was not a shoot throwing of a couch. But yeah, this guy's gimmick is he breaks stuff. So I hope he comes out to Limp Bizkit next week.
He sees the chair, he wants to throw it.
Yeah. I don't know much about this guy, but he's big. And he throws stuff. So if he does that to things, can't wait to see what he does to people.
Got to see him throw
Miles.
Odyssey Jones.
Yeah. Well, he was thrown tonight. But yeah, he's going to throw someone.
Throw him into Booker.
Yeah, whatever you're going to throw them into Booker next week. We go to our somewhat of a main event, the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller, you know it's time for a Grayson Waller effect when he goes live on Instagram. It's that or he's in front of someone's house when he's live. He starts off by saying, next week is spring break-in, and it's going to be wild. There's title matches. There's big matches. There's a trunk match, whatever that is, he says. It's a big laugh. He then brings out Carmelo Hayes, the NXT champion, who comes out with Trick, and they're looking fire. They sit down, and Waller says, like, hey, Mello, I'm so happy that you guys are here. But, you know, you're talked about. You're the champ. But everyone keeps talking about me and how I should be the champ. And it seems like for once in a while, it's the title that needs me. Like, I don't need the title. The title needs me because I'm the bigger star than you and you're the champ. And Mello is like, no, that's incorrect. Sorry. Like, everyone's talking about me and Bron. He's like, I don't know. I don't know if they are. I mean, you didn't steal the show. I did in that unsanctioned match. He then says that, you know, we're going to read some questions from the crowd and the audience because it's got like tickers with those fake like quotes. I thought I saw one from Fire Frank the Tank that said like Grayson Waller's great or something like. But it says, we got some questions. What does it mean that you are him? Like, are you, what do you mean? Are you a loser? Are you like, and Mello's like, whoa.
Like, does it stand for he is mediocre?
Yeah,
like
he
that?
is this. And Trick is like, dog, like you just a hater, which got me laughing. And he says, no. And Trick is like, gets up and is like about to beat him up. And the crowd is hot, like, whoop that Trick. And Mello shuts it down, like, hey, no fighting here tonight. Come on.
There's a heckler or something as Trick like interjects here, and he just turns
right away.
And so like casually, but naturally is like, hey, don't be hating on Trick.
Yeah, shut
and
up.
then just continues.
Yeah,
and
so funny.
Dealt with it so nicely.
Yeah. He then calls Grayson Waller a snake, and then Mello says, you know, we're not going to fight here tonight. And says, Waller, like, sorry, like, you're just not that guy. And says, you know what, Waller, though, let's put up a banner. You want to talk about my banners and my jerseys? Let's put up, I got a banner for you, Waller. And stands up and points at the Tron and says, I want this banner of Waller's accomplishments. And nothing happens. And he goes, oh, yeah, there isn't any because you don't have any. And Waller says, yeah, well, how come people are saying I stole the show? And Mello says, you stole the show? You're a 6 out of 10, just like all the girls you pull. And Waller says, come on, mate. I got an Australian accent. Come on. He knows the Game Shark, right? Yeah. What do you have to say about that? British or Australian? What does bigger numbers on the board there? What's more of the Game Shark? Is Australian even more like?
I don't know.
British accent means old money though, so like, it's like more proper.
I've definitely found in like the southern states the British accent.
Sure, the Aussie
it doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah. No. You need to just start going, oi, mate. Well. He says, I got an Australian accent, so, you know, that's wrong. And says, Mello, you know, there's a draft coming up. Why don't you give me that title, and then you can hit up MVP, and you can help carry Omos's bags. The crowd go, oh, and Melo fires back and says, yeah, well.
He also says you'll be the same height as them. As that much span.
Melo fires back and says, yeah, well, I'm sure Logan Paul will be looking for a guy to dress in the Prime costume. And the crowd goes, oh. And he goes, yeah, well, if I did that, I'd still be more relevant than you. And he goes, no, you will never be more relevant than me. He goes, I'm known for making viral moments. And next week, Melo, I'm going to beat you. And at the end of the night, I'm going to do a golden shoey over your prone body as I hold up the title and new. And Melo says, yeah, well, that's not going to happen because next week I'm going to take that shoey. I'm going to take your shoes and they'll be up in the power lines as I retain the title. And still, as they stare at each other here.
I loved as Melo was finishing, it was like he knew Waller was going to try and get the last word.
Yeah.
And he just put his hand on top of his mic.
Yeah.
Before he said and still. Yeah, good. Like both these guys are really great talkers. So it's pretty fun to see them go at it now. Almost feels like you could build this up maybe to a bigger match. I guess Bron and Melo down the line going there again is the big match they may be building to. But yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I think both Waller, we say every week, is so great in this position. And I think putting in the kind of thing with the draft, it does make you think, oh, well, if they suddenly were like, hey, actually, we want Melo on SmackDown now, there is the chance for a title change and ending this thing early. So I don't think it's completely a done deal that Melo's winning.
I mean, it's got to be just because this, like, he's been the guy here and they got to push that. But honestly, Grayson is the one this is a type of thing with the Instagram live and all that. That's something they should be doing on the main.
I liked his like Tron as he was coming up. It was all these hashtags, but it was like the sexiest boy, the real heartbreak kid.
Yeah, hashtag,
it was all like Johnny Gargano and Shawn Michaels stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like, I don't know if this is the best. Like, this episode was really good and it had lots of good wrestling. I understand this is the main event next week, kind of a bigger show. So I guess this was the way to end it, but it kind of was like, oh, and they didn't fight, right? No one got put through a table, right?
Yeah,
like,
well, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good talking segment with these two. I really enjoyed this week, actually. I thought it was very solid. Some really good in-ring stuff. And I thought the out-of-the-ring stuff was pretty entertaining too. That Duke and Bron segment, this main event, and Nathan Frazer's new show.
You know what? I like this episode. It had a lot of good wrestling and definitely keeps me happy. You started the show with a pretty sweet, like, 3-way tag match, which got me like already in a better mood when I start the show. And then on top of that, I got obviously my Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, Kiana whole thing going on. I selfishly love that. But you're right. A lot of the out of the ring stuff was good, including that stuff. I mean, maybe that wasn't. I just love that stuff. But the Bron, Duke Hudson stuff, that was really killer. I liked Grayson and Melo as well, but the wrestling definitely, like Wes and Charlie was great too. So yeah, I was a lot higher up on this episode, especially being a little wrestled out still with WrestleMania fatigue, but it kept my attention, and I'm excited for next week with Spring Breakin', which has some matches that I can go through right now. Carmelo Hayes taking on Grayson Waller. You're saying Grayson's gonna take?
No, I'm just saying there is that seeded out now with the draft coming up.
Okay.
But I do think it's Melo.
Yeah, Melo for sure. Andre Chase versus Braun Breaker.
Sorry, but it's gonna be Bronny.
The trunk match.
I'm
gonna say Tony D and Stacks.
I'll go pretty deadly.
Just because they have the new like
new
edge to them. Yeah, they're angry, pretty deadly, pretty angry.
Pretty angry.
Indy Hartwell versus Roxy versus Tiff.
Indy.
I think so too. Too early to change titles, unless all the stuff people have been saying is true. She's just the beatable champ, like Tiff said. Bird Lady versus Cora Jade.
I think Bird Lady.
I think it's like I like Bird Lady over Cora Jade, but Cora Jade's been running her mouth. I think she's got to climb those ranks back up. Brooks Jensen and Kiana versus Josh and Fallon.
Brooks and Kiana.
Yeah, I say the same thing. And Oba Femi versus your TV. Or your couch or whatever blender you break.
Again, Booker T.
So that's spring break-in. I'm not sure if they're adding Dijak and Ilya, but there is potential at this time.
You could do that the week after as the main event or something.
There's a few other storylines.
That's already quite a lot of matches.
Yeah, there's a few storylines that are like continuing on that I would imagine we get the like fallout from the following week. So yeah, that's spring break-in. So can't wait to spring break next week. Spring break forever.
Yeah, shall we go to some feedback?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, we post feedback every week on the Poisonrana Facebook group. That man is flying off in the background there on his bike. We go to Fire Frank, who says, "Book, are you okay? No. Congrats, Brooks, on becoming a man. He doesn't need those fake friends. Can't wait for the trunk match. How come no birdcage match for Cora versus Bird Lady? Time to go spring breaking."
Birdcage match. That sounds terrifying. You're stuck in a giant bird cage
with
Robin Williams and
with Nathan Lane. Yeah.
Great movie. Great effing movie. We go to Megan. I wonder if Megan's seen Birdcage. You should watch it, Megan. It's a good movie. Megan writes, a solid go-home show for spring break, and Wes Lee continues to be a consistent with his NA title defenses. The Roxanne Indy Tiff triple threat has plenty of agendas going into it. Indy wants to cement her title reign. Roxy wants it back, and after overcoming anxiety, and Tiff wants the title to stroke her ego, and the Mellow Waller promo was solid. Dijak and Dragunov should be at Battleground. Yes, if they have not announced it for next week, but I guess that's a ways away.
That's about 5-6 weeks away. Isn't
yeah,
it?
a long time.
So whether you could hold off till
possibly
then.
not, but yeah. Thanks guys for writing in. That was NXT. That was Up Next. Like I said, next week is spring break, and so we'll be here as we always are on Tuesday nights, live as soon as it ends, 10:15 Eastern time on the Post Wrestling YouTube, and then up wherever you found this sweet podcast.
And if you haven't already, follow us on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod, because you're going to be going live tomorrow with Jordan Goodman and Steve Grows Weed for an episode of Detox, and then you're going to be taking a break this Sunday, but I'll be joined by B Detroit for an episode of Poison Rana, so 2 p.m. on that feed, or you can find it later in your podcast app, where we'll be talking about all of the news from this week in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear you and B's thoughts on our boy Gringo Loco on Ring of. It's gonna be the first new Ring of Honor, other than I watched the pay-per-view, so we bought the pay-per-view, so I did watch that. But Thursday night, Gringo versus Vikingo,
amazing
on Ring of Honor. Absolutely checking that out. That's our boy. We're watching him next week at Demand Lucha in Toronto. I know.
Is that next week now?
Yeah, next Thursday night. I know a lot of our listeners go to those shows now too, so don't be shy. Say hello. You have before in the past. We love you guys. So yeah. Toronto fans, again, Forbidden Door weekend, we are cooking some stuff up, so follow this space for everything. But this summer, there's a lot of big wrestling events. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing SummerSlam. We're going to be doing All In It. We're going to be everywhere. So follow our space. We can't do these podcasts without you guys listening and supporting. So thank you. Poisonrana.ca for the links for everything that we do, including the Patreon and all the free shows and yada, yada, yada. And guys, we had our Instagram taken down, and then we got a new one, and we've only got like 200 followers. So please, at PoisonRanaPod on Instagram. I know you use it. Go right now. Open it. Send me a DM. Send me your memes on the Instagram. But I myself, Braden Herrington, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheBrady.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And we'll see you at spring break.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.